Prime Minister Modi presently is in Indonesia to attend the ASEAN-India summit. Prime Minister got a rousing welcome from the Indian diaspora there, as always happens in other countries as well. Prime Minister Modi greeted with this warm reception. Indonesia, remember, and India share historical ties, and therefore the sort of relationship that both nations have had has been of extreme importance and a strong friendship. As you can see in Indonesia, there is the ASEAN summit, and remember it was one of the notes on ASEAN summit also that referred to Bharat, and that was included in the whole India-Bharat debate as well. Joining us is our Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan. Geeta, good morning. Barely a day to go for the countdown really as it starts for G20 summit, but Prime Minister Modi also fulfilling another responsibility of the ASEAN summit. Why is this summit crucial that he had to go right now at the time, of course, when the G20 is also scheduled?
Well, because the ASEAN-India summit is crucial, it's an important one, and it was scheduled way before and according to the dates that was convenient to all the leaders to attend the Indonesian summit of the India-ASEAN, East Asia summit, and the ASEAN summit itself. So this is a part of India's Act East policy, as Prime Minister Modi spelled out in his departure statement ahead of his visit. Also, it makes a great timing for all those leaders who are traveling from far off to travel to Indonesia and then probably come who are going to do that, including the Russian with whom Jaishankar had a in Jakarta yesterday. So the engagement with ASEAN in countries is the comprehensive strategic partnership that has really taken India and ASEAN nations to another level, and that's spelled out before he left for Jakarta.
And another nation, of course, it shares historical connect also to India, specifically with regard to Ramayan, for example. They have a lot of references, including their own national emblem, the Garuda, which is all in many ways symbolizes that connect. Do you think this is, whether it's the voice of Global South or toward East, as you're also mentioning, this is also on agenda for Prime Minister Modi to kind of collaborate with our nations beyond the subcontinent to ensure that the connect remains or in fact is escalated?
Well, that's right. There are historical ties between Indonesia and India, and which is why there are going to be bilaterals between the two countries. They happened last year as well when Indonesia was the host of the G20, and that's where the conversation about recovering, about adding and including developing nations and emerging countries really started. So Indonesia has played a very critical role. In fact, if anything, Pooja, Indonesia managed to get a joint communique and a very successful Bali declaration during the G20 summit in Bali. So it is not just Indonesia right now. It is the ASEAN nations that India wants to connect with. And for India, the ASEAN Southeast Asian countries are very important. Therefore, every time they have the ASEAN summit, on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit, you have two very critical and important summits, which India, as also America, is a part of. ASEAN-India summit, which is a purely India connecting with ASEAN nations, and then the East Asia summit, where the entire
Geeta, before you know, this is a lot of political discussion happening. I did have a quick question before we dip into reactions. The reference Bharat also was seen in this ASEAN summit note.
Well, there is an effort, a conscious effort now that we see the administration make in all the scheduled documents or the function documents that are put out, where instead of saying Prime Minister of India, they are using the term Prime Minister of Bharat. Both words can be used interchangeably, and it's the reason why India is using, the Indian administration is using the term Bharat. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of the controversies in the realm of political here in India, the effort over here, certainly in many of the official documents now, also to start calling India Bharat by the Modi administration.
Because ASEAN Summit Note was one of the first official ones in a global sphere that referred to the term Bharat, and that in fact is crucial. Let's listen into some from the Indian diaspora. Look at them all decked up in tricolor.
क्योंकि वो बोले कि अच्छा आज कोई नहीं सोया, हमने कहा हाँ आज जगराता है हमारा, ना कोई खाता है ना कोई पीता है क्योंकि मोदी जी आए जकार्ता है। बहुत बहुत अच्छा लगा। जय मोदी जी, जय हिंद, घर घर मोदी, घर घर मोदी, जय हिंद।
Aj Modi ji aaye in Jakarta hai. So that is how enthusiastic some members of the Indian diaspora is. Remember, this is very crucial. And today, remember, 7th of September, by tonight, US President Joe Biden will be arriving, and that will begin other leaders one by one of 20 nations who will start arriving into Delhi. This is the most high-profile event that India will be hosting, but this also was a responsibility to be fulfilled, the ASEAN Summit in which India plays a crucial role. Listen into more reactions in Indonesia.